Hey guys, welcome back to another Dragon Ball FighterZ video. In today's video, I want to list off the top 20 things Dragon Ball FighterZ players absolutely hate. And number one on this list has got to be Super Dash. This is the one feature of Dragon Ball FighterZ that has been extremely contentious since the start of the game. This kind of goes into number two, where you Super Dash a millisecond after your opponent, and you end up getting hit and a full combo happens, and it never feels good. Number three, fusion characters. If it's one thing I learned from doing team requests so often, is there's a massive love-hate relationship with fusion characters. Everyone requests I play them, but whenever I play them, people also point out how much they hate the characters. Number four on the list is going to be mashing. Mashing has single-handedly won and lost all of us a bunch of different games. And when you get mashed on, it never feels good. It feels like the opponent doesn't know what they're doing and they're kind of just throwing it out there, but sometimes it's actually appropriate. It's the right move in order to go ahead and mash. So when you end up landing a mash knowing that you were the one who was supposed to go, then it feels really rewarding. Moving on down the list, the next thing people hate is blocking. In a game that's as aggressive as Dragon Ball FighterZ, nobody wants to block. Everybody wants to keep on attacking, which is why people hate mashers. But sometimes you have to block, and well, nobody wants to do it. This next one makes me a little sad, man, because the next thing people really hate is Android 21 in a lab coat. I was really excited about this character, and I still absolutely love her, but there's no denying that she is a little powerful and definitely deserves some nerfs. And that's why people don't like her. They feel like she fits right into that fusion meta of just super powerful characters that's extremely difficult to deal with because of how strong she is. The next thing people really hate about Dragon Ball FighterZ is the vacuuming light attacks. You know, like the Janemba light attacks or the Bardock light attacks or even the UI Goku light attacks, they just mash those buttons and you're bound to get caught, especially since some of those attacks have a lot of range. It sucks to get hit by that, and it ends up leading to a lot of combos that dish out crazy amounts of damage and could potentially lose you the game. On the flip side, when you're the one getting the combo, it feels so good. It feels like such a gift in order to be given that vacuuming light attack. We know it's something that people hate more than that, and that's the bad connection of Dragon Ball FighterZ. Especially with like the newer fighting games that are coming out, they all have rollback netcode. Dragon Ball FighterZ is a little bit dated in that department, and people hate the delay-based netcode. Moving down the list, I think something that a lot of people hate. Now, obviously, Z Broly players, they love the armor, and I don't blame them. It's really powerful. But man, when you have a character as strong as Z Broly and he's got armor on top of his normals, it can be really painful to fight against. Now, some characters in Dragon Ball FighterZ are extremely gifted, and some of these characters have some attacks that end up hitting on both sides, and that's the next thing people hate. I can't tell you how many times I've been hit by UI Goku's beam after I teleported to the opposite side. And I'm sure you guys can relate to getting opened up and mixed from Android 21's jumping heavy attack. There's plenty of attacks in Dragon Ball FighterZ that hit on both sides, and they're extremely difficult to not only block against, but also catch you by surprise when you try to go on the offensive. Like Base Goku's light attacks, for example. That thing catches me off guard way more times than I'd like to admit, which leads us right down to the next thing on the list, which is multi-hitting normal attacks. Now, you know where I'm going with this. You know exactly who I'm talking about, because it ends up being one of the fusion characters, Vegito. That guy's kicks are ridiculous. You'll trade with the first hit and get nailed by all the rest of them. And while sure, his multi-hitting light attack is probably the glaring example, there are other multi-hitting attacks that are really powerful in the game. You know what else people really hate about Dragon Ball FighterZ? Full screen 2Ms. You got some characters that can really just throw their foot across the screen and really nail you from just about anywhere, sniping you for a huge damaging combo. Now, the next thing on the list is a little bit more trivial. It's not so bad, and that's the fact that we don't have any cosmetics. This is the one thing that a lot of people in Dragon Ball FighterZ would love to see come to the game, and it's just probably never gonna happen. Although they have a lot of opportunities for it, since a lot of the characters do have multiple costumes, it's not really something that the developers really care to give us. Thank goodness for the modding community, though. And this ties right into the next one, which is new stages. Yet again, another thing the developers just kind of left on the table and never really did anything with, when they have things like Snake Way, Kame's House, Beerus's Planet. Like, the list goes on and on and on, and they just never gave it to us. Next on the list, people hate playing neutral. Neutral in Dragon Ball FighterZ is unlike any other fighting game, you know, just based on the actual mechanics of the game, right? Vanishing, Super Dash, and so on and so forth. And people just aren't down to play it. They've given the chance, no one is playing neutral in Dragon Ball FighterZ. You're bound to see a lariat or a Super Dash from full screen. And one of the most frustrating things in Dragon Ball FighterZ that nobody likes to do is teching Dragon Rushes. And you can't blame them when the connection in Dragon Ball FighterZ is a little iffy at best. Teching Dragon Rushes online can be extremely difficult, and it feels bad to see the Dragon Rush coming, you press the button, but your button gets eaten, and you don't get the Dragon Rush. Now, the next two things people hate about Dragon Ball FighterZ, I feel like they can kind of go hand in hand. You see, because the developers decided to drop Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta with a massive one-hit KO level 7, people absolutely despise, and they also decided to drop Android 21 in the lab coat, who can debuff their opponent for the rest of the game, and people hate that just as much, if not more. Now, the one thing I personally hate, and this goes for any fighting game, not even just Dragon Ball FighterZ, but I hate when people run away. This has to go on the list, if only because of my personal bias. But people running away drives me crazy. And what my time in Dragon Ball FighterZ has taught me is raw level 3s definitely something people hate as well. I think we've all been there. I think we've all just raw level 3'd somebody and got that inevitable rage quit that ended up happening because they weren't the happiest about it. Like, it's bound to happen. A raw level 3 never feels good, even though I find it absolutely hilarious to do. But there's two things in Dragon Ball FighterZ that really feel like a smack in the face when you get hit by them. Just extra salt in the wounds in order to take a potentially losing game and make it all that much more worse. And that is Videl's counter. Probably one of the most disrespectful things you can do in Dragon Ball FighterZ. This game doesn't have any taunts that you can actually perform, but this is about just as close as you can possibly get. And right up there with Videl's counter, we have Vegito's counter. Another super disrespectful counter that just, I don't know what it is. I think it's Vegito's attitude. He just puts a little bit of extra salt in the wounds when he nails you with this. And it doesn't help that he grabs you by the face and slams you into the floor. But this was the 20 things that people hate in Dragon Ball FighterZ. If you guys feel I missed anything, feel free to leave it in the comments down below and check out these videos next. I'll catch you guys back here tomorrow. Thanks for watching.